Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 425, I think? 425, yes. Alright, so, golly gosh and heck, what shall we talk about this week? Well, there's only 1,700 different things to talk about, and surely the most important, the thing that has the most impact on our well-being and society in general, is of course the Game Awards. Is there anything else that's happening? Sure. Is it more important than the Game Awards? God, yes. Am I going to talk about any of it? Nah. So let's talk about the Game Awards. So I watched the Game Awards, and by watching the Game Awards, I mean I scrubbed through it and watched all of the commercials for games that are coming out in 2026 and 2027, and in the case of some of them, probably 2030. Like the Star Wars coder. Well, it's not Knights of the Old Republic. It's what, Fate of the Old Republic, something like that. Yeah, yeah. I don't think we're gonna see that one for like at least 4 years. I'm thinking like 2029 at the earliest. So yeah, some of these I think are way the hell off. But so what I did, I also have no idea who won. I'm going to guess it was Claire Obscure Expedition 33 because as I was scrubbing through because YouTube for whatever reason has taken away, at least in the browser that I'm using, the ability to see a preview image. If you hover your mouse cursor over the video player's timeline, you will see an image of what's going on there. So you can just kind of scroll through looking for stuff. That's not there anymore. Thanks a lot, YouTube. Every change you make makes it worse. Another thing that YouTube's been doing in the last week, or at least I didn't notice until this week, YouTube is inserting ads into my watch history. So I went into my watch history because another thing that YouTube is doing, or that took away, is if you're watching a video and you get halfway through it and you go to bed because you have school or work in the morning, and then you try to watch the video the next day, it doesn't remember where you were. Thanks a lot, YouTube. You made it worse. Anyway, so I went to my history to go pick up a video to finish watching it, and I noticed a bunch of YouTube videos that are just commercials for, one was some Grinch, like Grinch Who Stole Christmas, Grinch commercial from Walmart. There were a couple Hulu videos, this month on Hulu, this month on Disney Plus. I didn't watch those videos. I never even saw them in my recommends. I don't know what the hell they're doing in my watch history because I didn't watch them. I've also turned off, luckily this is something you can toggle off. There is a feature where if you see videos in your recommends and you highlight and you hover your cursor over it, it'll start playing so you can kind of get a sense of what the video looks like. You can turn that off. Now, I am aware that if you hover over stuff and have it kind of auto preview play, that throws it in your history. Also, there's barely any room on the screen to actually scroll without doing it, so I turn that off. Anyway, I have no idea why YouTube is inserting things into my watch history. Are they trying to game their own algorithm to get it to recommend more Walmart videos? It's your algorithm. Just game your own algorithm. You insert shit you want me to watch in my recommends anyway. I know because I keep blocking all the channels. Maybe it's some ad blocker thing. Maybe there's some like the Walmart ad is part of a pop-up that my ad blocker is just suppressing, but it's still counting as a view and throwing into my watch history. I don't know. It's weird. YouTube sucks and is weird and sucks. So, whatever. I don't know. Hi, Jared. Jared says, have you played those two games? Have I... Knights of the Old Republic? Is that what you're talking about? The two coder games? Let me know if that's what... I think that might be what you mean. If that's what you mean, let me know if it's not. Let me know which two games you're talking about. Um, what was I talking about? So I was watching the Game Awards, and again, by watching the Game Awards, just scrubbing through them looking for the commercials. But I did see people on stage in red hats and stripy shirts. I'm gonna guess that those are the Claire Obscure folks, and they were up there a lot. So I'm guessing that Claire Obscure did very well for itself the night before, whenever the Game Awards was. It Thursday? I think Thursday, not before last. Coder, yes, I've played part of the first one. I I kind of bounced off it. I thought it was unfortunately, I played Knights of the Old Republic like way too long after it originally. I probably would have liked it a lot more if I played it somewhere near where it when it first released. But by the time I finally played it, it was like well over a decade old, and it's a little old. It's kind of hard to play now. It's one of those kind of earlier 3D games that are pretty janky. It was okay. I liked what I played. I just kind of bounced off of it. Never got around to the sequel. Uh, but you know, maybe when Fates of the Old Republic comes out in 2029 or 2030, um, maybe I'll give that a try. So, the Muppets were there. I don't remember a Muppets video game, but uh, the Muppets were there. So 913 were so nominated for 13 things, and they took 9 of them, huh? Wow. Oh, well done. Um, so what I did is, so what I'm going to talk about tonight is all the games that stuck out to me for one reason or another. Either because I saw it and I said, ooh, I want to play that. Or, ooh, that looks dumb. Or any other reason. So, the first game I saw, and this was part of, I guess, the pre-show, was a game called Decrepit. I think it's Decrepit. It's spelled with P-I-T on the end. Decrepit, I think is what they're going for there, which is fun. This appears to be. It's only janky if you don't understand what the system is, which is a D&D mask. Coder, yeah, it's no, I mean more along the lines of its visual presentation, its UI, its controls. Um, it's just an older game, right? And I didn't think it was bad. I just played it for I probably put like 10, 12 hours into it. Um, and just never went back. I hung it up for I played it for a few days, and then I just got distracted by something shiny and never went back. But I did enjoy what I played, and I played most of it in my underwear because my character you start out on a ship, and the first thing you do is get dressed, and they will not let you leave the room until you put your pants on. But it's basically teaching you how to go into the menu and equip stuff. So you go to your little lockbox, you grab your clothes, you put in your clothes, you walk out the door. And of course, I immediately took my clothes off so I could run around in my underwear because I'm a child. Um, so let's see. There's the whole ship fight thing, and then you get to a place, and then there's a big city, and then there's like a tournament or something. Um, yeah, it's been a while. It was old when I played it, and it's been a while since I've played it, so my memory of it isn't great. But maybe I'll go back to it at some point. Anyway, Decrepit. So this appears to be a roguelike game where you try to do something until you die, and then you start over, but you get to keep at least the knowledge of the place that you've been exploring, and then you have to do it again. I'm not sure if it has any like I'm sure there's like skills and perks and stuff that carry over into subsequent runs, although I don't know if you can like re-pick up your items or whatever. Um, Normally I'm not terribly interested in games like that. Um, one failure on my part, going back to KOTOR, I don't recall if I actually played long enough to get more than one companion character, and I don't even remember who I got. I know there's multiple companion characters in the game. I just I probably should have at least played long enough to get a couple different companion characters to just really get more, because I know a lot of people really like the NPCs that accompany you, and I don't remember who it was. Yeah, I don't remember anymore. Probably so I didn't give it as it's kind of like Half-Life, another game that I bounced off of very quickly, but I only played it for like 30 minutes. Um, and it bored the hell out of me, and I never went back to it. Then that's really not enough time with the game. I think the game has a very slow start. I got a little past the point where I don't know, some green laser things in a science lab just rip a hole in reality and little gooey monsters pop out, and then all the scientists are like bleeding head zombies or something like that. I got a little past that, and just I think I was at like my cousin's house, or my aunt and uncle's house, and I was just he's like, hey, you can go in the computer room, just play video games while the adults are doing stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay. So it wasn't, I only had half an hour to play with it, but yeah, I never went back to it. And that's one of the classic games of all time that everyone loves, and I'm like, it was slow and boring to start. Jared says, well, do you like being more of a jerk or a servant in RPGs? Generally, I like being very altruistic. I just like being weird and running around in my underwear because, again, I've got the mind of a 12-year-old and I think it's funny. Hey, Chaos. Um, I think I did try just shooting everybody. I don't rem I'm sure I pushed some boundaries when I was just messing around in the start of the game, but I don't really remember. Anyway, Decrepit. So while I'm not normally drawn to roguelikes, um, I did quite enjoy the hell's it called? Vampire Survivors. This one is kind of a reverse roguelike. The My takeaway from the trailer was you're in a dungeon and you are trying to escape. And the dungeon and the castle sitting on top of the dungeon is full of like mummy and undead type monster things. So basically, it's a jailbreak. You're trying to leave. You break out of your cell. You get out of the dungeon. You fight through the castle trying to get out the front door, and then you get killed or KO'd or whatever. And someone just drags your ass back to the dungeon and throws you right back into the cell. So god damn it. So actually, I guess it's kind of like Hades in that sense. I just found the aesthetic appealing, and that kind of reversal of how the uh, roguelikes normally work looked interesting. I don't know if this is something I'll definitely get, but the undeadish monstrosities. Oh, it's a first-person game also. Another thing I liked is it kind of feels like dungeon crawling in the Elder Scrolls, at least the latter Elder Scrolls game, like Oblivion, or even Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, um, except not absolute garbage. One of the issues I have with Elder Scrolls is the combat sucks, to me anyway. It always feels so floaty and like you're just kind of limply waggling a sword at things. It never feels like it doesn't feel impactful to me, and so I've always found the combat in Elder Scrolls just utterly uninteresting and boring, and it's one of the reasons I just don't care for those games. But this is a first person swing a sword at undead looking monstrosities game, and it's crunchy. It feels, at least from the way the trailer's presented, it feels like you're actually smacking a skeleton on the noggin with a sword. Yeah, I thought it was. I was like, hey, we're off to a good start here. Jared says he thinks I would like Code Horror 2 more. Okay. Let's see. The next one, and the biggest news of the night, for me anyway, was Pragmata. The game from Capcom that they've been talking about for like 6 years now. Um, if you remember, several years ago, when they were talking about this game coming out in like 2022 or 2023, there was some footage of uh, Sammy and Gloria, the guy and the little girl in the blue jacket, wandering around some city, and they had a ghost cat with them. Some cat who was translucent. So I'm assuming that's a ghost. Could be a hologram, but I like the idea of a ghost cat. So I'm calling it the ghost cat. This past summer, Capcom has finally allowed some of the media, in a very controlled way, to play a demo of Pragmata, which looks like I checked it out, and I checked out some footage of it. It looks like the demo that was just released on Steam. I think that's the same demo that everyone else was playing, that media was playing last summer. But this last trailer that they showed during the Game Awards took place not in the spaceship, I guess, where there's no ghost cat. And I was like, oh no, where's the ghost cat? I don't want to play the game now. Why would anyone be interested in this game with no ghost cat? Where's the ghost cat? Was it cut from the game? Well, fear not, friends, because the footage they showed at the Game Awards the other day took place on the surface of the planet, and Ghost Cat lives. And that's the most important news of the night. I know Claire Obscure developers are very proud of themselves, but I'm sure even they would admit that their 9 wins and 13 nominations pales in comparison to confirmation that Ghost Cat is still in Pragmata. Let's see. Chaos says, yeah, first person works well for shooters. Not so great with swords. Yeah, to be fair, it's a hard thing to do. And in my opinion, Elder Scrolls has never managed to come even close to it. So, but maybe Decrepit will do it. Jared says it takes a mod to add the missing content, fix major bugs and such. Oh, so kind of like what was that game I played that requires that everyone's saying like this is a great game, but you have to apply the mod. It's a vampire game. I think it's just Vampire the Masquerade, right? Um, yeah, I played Vampire the Masquerade. I think I played it on a Sunday stream some years back, and I got a kick out of it for about 2 hours. But man, even even with the patch that apparently just fixes the game. Um, Again, I'm playing it years after it originally came out. Like I tried playing like Baldur's Gate, um, years after it came out, and I'm like, I just can't put up with the game. It's too old. Uh, it's got this whole thing where it's a single screen thing, and you have to click on the screen to get your character, but your character doesn't actually pan the view. You have to physically drag the screen over. So you have to click to move your character and then drag the screen. I'm like, oh god, I do not have the patience for this. So, um, um, let's see. Let's see. Jared says, which is why I thought about but didn't ask you to play it because you'd probably not gel with it. Yeah. Do. So, okay, so next thing that caught my attention was something called Bradley the Badger, which kind of looks like a fake game to me. It looks like a game that someone built to exist in like a movie or a television show. Like, it's not actually a real game. It's a game that someone mocked up so that they could have a video game that a character in a show or a movie is playing in the background. Um, and the reason I say that is just mainly because of its style. It's got a aesthetic that looks fake. It's just I'd have to look at it again to try and narrow down why it looks like a fake game to me, but that was my impression of it. Anyway, it's got a interesting conceit. So an ostensible cartoon mascot 3D platform character who's existed for a while. He clearly doesn't, but it's like the game's fiction is pretending that Bradley the Badger is a cartoon mascot character who's starred in a series of his own games. He walks out and he finds himself in like a Dark Souls clone, and he's like, "Well, that's weird." And the game is him essentially jumping genres and constantly working through um, different, so he first starts in Dark Souls or Bloodborne or something like that, and then he ends up in like Cyberpunk 2027, 2027, 2077, something like that. And it looks like they're maybe trying to do a commentary on games releasing in an unfinished state, because the gimmick seems to be, oh, here's like some temporary models and textures and stuff, and I can hack into it and I can manipulate the game world, Neo in the Matrix style, to progress through stuff. Which, I mean, sure, fine, interesting conceit if done right. And then it cuts to a live action segment, which, if there's a section in the game that's like an FMV video game, that's actually pretty cool. Except it didn't look like that. It kind of felt like a Devolver Digital sketch that they do during one of their shows for uh Volvi, the Devolver Digital mascot, right? That thing. It feels like that. I maybe it's a real game and maybe it will be really cool, but I think they missed the mark in how they presented the game, because it comes off as fake. It comes off as a like a Devolver Digital joke to me. They may be serious. I don't know. I didn't watch it a second time to try and that was just my first impression of it. I didn't, look into it. I haven't like Googled it to see if there's like a developer interview or who the developer is, if there is. I don't know. Um, but I do think if you're gonna do a game where you're genre jumping and you're actually gonna one of the genres you're jumping into is FMV games, you've got my attention, because I'm old enough to have played and enjoyed many an FMV game. So haven't even thought about those for a while. What is the most recent FMV game that I've played? Um Jesus, I don't know. Gabriel Knight 2. I have no idea. Uh I'd have to go look in I'd have to go think about what games I've played and see what the release dates are, because I don't remember. A little like Matt Hazard. Um, so after Bradley Badger, there was a game called Stupid Never Dies, which looks like it's going for a lollipop chainsaw vibe, only you play as the zombie, which, okay. So if Stubbs the zombie was a bit more colorful and raucous, um, pardon me, and wielding a guitar or a chainsaw or something, I don't remember, but yeah, it could be lively and fun, because I forget the company that did that ghastly, not remake, but like remaster of a Lollipop Chainsaw, and like messed it up in every conceivable way. Um, and then they had the audacity to be like, "Oh, we're gonna be like doing a whole Lollipop Chainsaw universe. We're gonna have a cartoon and we're gonna have a sequel." It's like, no, you're definitely not. This sounds like another investor scam, right? It sounds like they're just oh, we're gonna do this thing, it's gonna be popular, and they're just trying to get money from investors, and they're just gonna dump it and run. I mean, I hope not, because I liked Lollipop Chainsaw back when it came out on the PS3. So older game, but I had a lot of fun with it. And I'm like, oh, hey, they're remastering it? Cool. And then I looked at the trailer, I'm like, oh, no, why does it look worse? I think I devoted an entire, like a good chunk of an entire podcast, if not the whole thing, like frame by framing the commercial for it, the advertising for it, because it was like, wow, this is like the worst advertisement for a video game I have ever seen. This must be studied. So I think that was all the pre-show. So we start and talked about the Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, and there was no game footage because the studio that's creating it was just formed. So I think they just started on this. I think the publisher commissioned some external studio to make a animated advertisement. So it's like a minute and a half of Star Wars music and Star Wars locations, and then a very, very sweaty woman igniting a lightsaber. And that's it. Fate of the Old Republic. Cool. See you in 4 years at best. I don't think this one's coming for a while. Then we got a another Divinity game. Um, Apparently not a original. What was it? Divinity Original Sin? Is that what's so not that line of games? So it's not Original Sin 3. It's just another Divinity title. There's like 7 or 8 of them. Um, and we got to see a little mini movie, but it has nothing to do with the game. I mean, if you know what the Divinity franchise is, you can probably reasonably guess what the game's like. But if you don't, this isn't going to tell you shit. It's just a fun little mini movie where some guy gets Wicker Man and then gooey monsters pop out and start eating people. Yeah, it's a fun little mini movie, but doesn't tell you a damn thing about the game. So, oh well. Jared says game director's promising. For the new KOTOR, well, it's not KOTOR, Fodor, I guess. Yeah, so it's the game. The director is I forget the name of the dude, but apparently it's a designer who worked on the original KOTOR and some other stuff. So that's nice. Having some some creative continuity there. Saw a new trailer for Resident Evil Requiem, and hey, y'all are gonna have to sit down for this because this new news is gonna blow your minds. Are you ready for your mind to be blown? Leon Kennedy is in Resident Evil Requiem. Oh, you already knew that? Everyone already knew that? Oh, well, it's kind of a shame that leaked. But Leon Kennedy gets to chainsaw zombies, so that looks fun. No, no. I mean, it's always the same shame when fun little surprises leak early. Oh well. I mean, a lot of people were assuming that Leon would be in the game because, I mean, we're going back to Raccoon City, and that's where our buddy Leon cut his teeth. But I think it was like an icon on the PlayStation Store that got published too early. And it's like, that's a shame. That game still looks fun. It comes out, I think, in February or something like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I love Resident Evil. Um, so I'm excited to play the new character, Little Ashcroft, whatever her name is, Susan Ashcroft. I just hope that Leon doesn't like overshadow her role in the game. Um, I would assume it's probably pretty even, like Resident Evil 2. Um, but yeah, looks cool. I also kind of like while I was scrolling through, the woman who played Lady Dimitrescu in Resident Evil Village, she had a little skit with Some YouTubers, I think one was Maximilian Dude, one was what's her name, Sphere Hunter or something like that. I've seen these people before. I'm not terribly familiar with them, but I like the fact that I keep seeing this woman showing up in little skits and advertisements. I'm just happy for her that she's found work. I don't know what she was doing before she did Lady Demetress, but I'm just she seems fun. I think she's got a nice vibe, and I'm just I think it's pretty cool that her unfortunately small role in Resident Evil Village got parlayed into you know, kind of hosting duties in a few different contexts. I think that's fun. Um, Casey Hudson. Okay. Let's see. Resident Evil Rec Room. Oh, here we go. Warlock Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, cool. They didn't show anything. There's a lady, and she's got fabulous eye makeup. That's about all we know, because the trailer didn't show a damn thing. But to be fair, the game's not the game isn't coming is currently scheduled for 2027, and they did say that this is just an announcement. The gameplay reveal will be this next summer. So I'm usually okay with I've talked about this before, but it's part of an I think you can get away with not showing anything if it's like part of an established franchise. Um, Although Dungeons and Dragons is a little broad, but they introduced it as this is just an announcement trailer. Gameplay will be this summer, so it kind of level sets the expectations. Like, okay, we're just like, hey, you got a cool D&D game. It stars a warlock gal with cool eye makeup. We're gonna show you it in the summer. Get hyped. It's like, yeah, you know what? Okay, fine. It's what bothers me is when I'm shown nothing of the game to the point where I have no idea what the hell it is, yet the advertiser is acting like I should be super hyped. It's like, how? How am I supposed to be hyped about something you're telling me nothing about? So, let's see. Warlock. Dungeons and Dragons. So there's a game called Screamer. It is a racing game with with two completely separate visual styles between the racing gameplay section and what appears to be the story cutscenes. And those two styles, to me anyway, are incongruous in quite an off-putting manner. It, like, the story cutscenes seem to be very cartoony and anime, and the racing segments seem to be, like, going for fairly realistic, like, Gran Turismo, and I'm like, well, that, at least as presented, that's not working for me. Oh well, it's a racing game. I'm probably not going to play it anyway because I don't really care for racing games. Next we have Gang of Dragon. There was no gameplay. But, for those who don't know, Ryoga Gotoku Studio is the company that makes all the Yakuza games. Toshihiro... Toshihiro Nagoshi. Toshihiro Nagoshi, I think is the gentleman's name. He left Ryoga Gotoku Studios. Why can't Japanese people have American names? God damn it, that would make it so much easier for me, a very lazy American. So Toshihiro Nagoshi left Ryoga Gotoku Studio like 4 years ago So he was the main game director there, and he left a couple of years ago to start his own studio, Nagoshi Studios. Ah, clever, right? Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing Kojima did. Oh, you founded your own studio, huh? Yeah, founded my own studio. What are you going to call it? Kojima Studio. It's like, yeah, okay, that tracks. So this new game, Gang of Dragon, is the first game that we've seen from this new studio, and it looks like a Yakuza game. It looks like it takes place in Kamurocho, or at the very least, Kabukicho, I think is the name of the actual town that Kamurocho is based on. I couldn't actually read the signage, so um, it's gonna be kind of funny if I'm wondering if it's gonna just be Kabukicho or if it's gonna have a fake name like Kamurocho. Maybe it's gonna be called Kamorocho or something like that. But anyway, like many of the modern day Yakuza games, it's casting a real life known actor to model and voice the lead character. And this guy is a well known Korean brick shithouse whose name I don't know. Uh, Mod Dong Sek Say. I have no idea how Korean phonetics work. But if you've seen like Train to Busan, you've seen this guy. Big dude, very charismatic and very cool. So you know what? Good choice to model your character after. I'm quite interested to see how the game turns out. I would be not at all surprised if it turns out to be very, very Yakuza-like, because that's what it looks like. We didn't see any gameplay. We just saw uh this dude wandering around just punching people, and then walking through that same gate in not Kamurocho. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more. Am I excited for the game? Well, no, I have no idea what the game is. I'm excited for what the game might be. I'm excited to see what it is. But again, you gotta actually show me game here. I'm stubborn like that. All right, so pardon me. Street Fighter, not video game, movie. So they showed a trailer for the new Street Fighter movie, and it looks silly. But I think if it leans into that silliness, I think it could be a lot of fun. Or it could be really annoying and stupid. Don't know. But I was it genuinely you know, because the Mortal Kombat movie that came out a few years ago, it's kind of taking itself a little too serious. Mortal Kombat's silly. I mean, that doesn't mean don't treat it with respect, or like they did with the Monster Hunter movie. I would assume. I haven't seen it. Yeah, it looks silly, but in the right way, and hopefully it is. Let's see. There's a new Lego Batman game called Legacy of the Dark Knight, which appears to be going through all of the movies. Now, I'd heard of this and saw some trailer for it earlier, and it looked like it was just a Lego version of the Arkham games. This looks like it's a Lego version of the Arkham games and the Tim Burton movies and the Christopher Nolan movies and Batman Forever and Batman Joel Schumacher and the Joel Schumacher movies. So just everything. Maybe it will even include like the Lego Batman movie. Who knows? I probably will not play it because I got fed up with Lego games several years ago. I used to love the Lego games, despite the fact that they had the same problems in every single game and never bothered to fix any of them. They were cute and charming and fun, and I quite liked them. And then in the particularly around the Toys to Life era, Skylanders and Lego Dimensions and stuff like that, they started they started locking content that was originally just in the games behind little scannable minifigs and DLC. And around the time of it must have been around 2015. I think the last one I played was probably the Jurassic World Lego game. I was just like, I'm out. I just don't like how it's the same thing over and over. I've actually finally gotten tired of it, and they're just I don't like the way they're managing the games now because you know when I back in my day when I played a Lego game, you just any character you wanted to play, you found them in the game world, and then you went through a menu and you unlocked them. You didn't have to buy a friggin' toy or do all this downloadable content, paid DLC crap. So yeah, probably not going to get Lego Batman, but there was a moment in the trailer where Catwoman, who I guess is a playable character, is takes out some guards by standing back and using a laser pointer to get her cat to chase the laser pointer and attack the guard, which I just thought was really funny. Yeah, I like cats. Um, I have been grousing for the past couple of years that we have not had a new Tomb Raider. Or even an Uncharted, which I don't like as well, but does a pretty decent job of scratching that same itch. Which is unfortunate because for a decade or so, we had a new Tomb Raider or Uncharted game like every single year. From like 2006 all the way to about 2018. And then just stopped. We had Shadow of the Tomb Raider in, I think, 2018. And I forget what the last Uncharted game, if it was 4 or if it was, I think Lost Legacy was the last one, and that was like 2017 or 18 or something like that. And then just nothing, all done. We did get an Uncharted movie, which was eh. We did get a Tomb Raider movie, which was, I don't know, I didn't, the one with Alicia Vikander, I think her name is. Didn't see it. Got a Netflix show, which I watched first episode of and didn't think was very good, so... We did get remasters of the first 6 games. So... Yay. But, we've got, finally, a new Tomb Raider game. 2 of them. So, next year, we are getting Tomb Raider... I didn't write it down, shit. Tomb Raider, like, Legend of Atlantis or something like that. Which comes out next year, and is a remake of the first game. The Core was the name of the studio, right? Yeah, Core, I think. Who did the original games? So this is a remake of the original game from 1996. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, didn't they already remake the first game from 1996? Yes, they did. Well, I think it was Crystal Dynamics. It was called Tomb Raider Anniversary. And it came out just in time for Tomb Raider's 11th anniversary. I think it came out in 2007. So this is the second remake of the first game. Okay? So, will I get it? I don't know yet. If it's a remake of the first game and it plays exactly the same, probably not. I know it's going to look a lot different, but if it's just the first game again, just prettier, no. But perhaps it's less a remake and more a reimagining along the lines of like a Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4 remake or Final Fantasy 7 remake / rebirth, right? If it's along those lines, then yeah, I like Tomb Raider, so sure. The year after, 2027, what is time? We're getting another Tomb Raider game, Tomb Raider Catalyst, and this is a brand new game in which Lara Croft is now Spider-Man. She has web shooters. I mean, it doesn't shoot webs. She has a wrist mounted grappling hook that fires a cable from her wrist. It's essentially a web shooter. But yeah, so web swinging Lara. So yeah, I'm excited. More Tomb Raider. I've we haven't had Tomb Raider in 7 or 8 years, so hey, I'm happy to have more because they're Tomb Raider and Uncharted are really the maybe the new Indiana Jones, but I don't think that one is as clamor around the environments as Lara and Nathan are. Um, I imagine there's a I need to get up onto that ledge, whip, climbity, 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 but I don't get the sense from the trailers I've watched of Indy and the Great Circle. I think the name of the game is that he's really doing a lot of jumping and ledge grabbing and things like that. It doesn't quite scratch that same itch for me. So happy to get more Tomb Raider, particularly because I've always liked Tomb Raider more than Uncharted. Which is not a knock against Uncharted. I mostly like Uncharted, even though I thought the first one was not very good and the third one was outright bad. I think 2 is actually very, very good. Overstays its welcome by an hour or two, but otherwise very, very good. I thought 4 was quite strong, and I thought Lost Legacy was probably the best, even though it's unevenly paced. It's got this weird open area in like Act 2, which feels like that's just the game. No, it's just one level of the game that's just an open world, and they don't do that again. It just kind of makes the pacing of the game really weird. But playing what is it? Was it Chloe and Nadine? I think was just I thought those two just had wonderful chemistry together. I really enjoyed that one. So even though I like Tomb Raider better, I do mostly like Uncharted. Let's see. Most recent Lego Star Wars game was quite good, says Chaos. They mixed up the gameplay. Was that the Horizon one? Lego Horizon, I think. Chaos says, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Tomb Raider Anniversary also a remake? Yes, it was. So yeah, Tomb Raider. So Crystal Dynamics took over Tomb Raider in probably slightly before this, but early 2000s or mid 2000s, and their first game was Tomb Raider Legacy. What was it called? Hang on a second. Tomb Raider. Oh, that's Underworld. Where the hell's my other Tomb Raider? Was it on the GameCube? Legend, not Legacy. Tomb Raider Legend, and yes, it was on the GameCube. Okay, so I think that was 2006. I think it was Crystal Dynamics, right? IDOS, but yeah, Crystal Dynamics. So they took over the franchise from Core, and they came out with Legend, I think in '05 or '06, and then they came out with Tomb Raider Anniversary in 2007, I think, which was a remake of the first game from 1996, if I'm remembering my dates. And then they came out with Tomb Raider Underworld and in like 2008 or 9, and then they went dark for 5 years or so, and then they just kind of rebooted the trilogy with Tomb Raider, just Tomb Raider in 2013, I think. And then Rise in 15 or so, and 15, 16, and then Shadow in 18, I think is what it was. Chaos, yeah, Tomb Raider Legend. What's the name of the game? I have to go over to my game shelf and look at them. Let's see. Chaos says, I would argue that Uncharted 3 isn't bad, but it has some serious pacing issues. Some sections really overstay their welcome, and it has some major difficulty spikes. Yeah, I remember there is I remember I was on like chapter 9, and I was feeling like, okay, it's starting to wrap up. We're getting to the end. This feels like the climax. We're heading into the climax. There's probably maybe 12 chapters, right? So only a couple more hours of this and we're done. And then I looked it up just to see how many chapters there were. There were 24 chapters. I wasn't even halfway through. I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "Oh no." Oh no. No, no, no. I did finish it though. I didn't want to, but I did. I don't. What's weird is they like fixed everything that didn't work in the first game with the sequel. Like, you know, some of the problems with the first game was like the controls just didn't work very well. Sometimes Nathan would just jump in some random direction that you definitely weren't pointing, or he just would refuse to grab onto a ledge and just fall to his death. That was always really annoying, and it happened frequently enough to be just irritating. Like I never 100%ed that game because I beat the game and I went back to collect some of the the little treasures I've missed, and I I knew where the treasure was. I kept jumping for this ledge, and he like 3 times in a row just refused to grab the ledge. I'm like, okay, I'm done, because I'd been having problems with him like jumping the correct direction, grabbing stuff frequently enough to be irritating. The gunplay in that game was okay, but it was mainly the way the fights were set up. It's mostly in the first Uncharted game, you just come up on these big empty square arenas, and you're like, oh no, boss fight, or well, waves of enemies, and then you would just have to fight wave after wave after wave of enemies, and there were too many waves of enemies to the point where it felt like you're like, oh my god, is something break? Is the game scripting broken? How many waves of dudes do I have to fight here? Also, the guys in that game were just absolute friggin' bullet sponges. I mean, you as the player protagonist have an excuse because you're the protagonist, and protagonist has privilege. So you get to be a bullet sponge, but oh my god, you had to shoot these assholes so much. Um, so it's kind of annoying. They fixed all that in the sequel. The clamoring around the environment controls worked a lot better. Rarely would you have Nathan just not grab shit or just jump off in some weird direction that you were not pointing the control stick. Um, the combat arenas were less obvious and not just big square rooms. They were much more interesting in their layout, and they didn't have the problem of just wave after wave of enemies. Then you got to the third game, and like the combat mechanics just sucked. It's like, what happened? You nailed it in the last game. Why is it bad? Why is actually aiming and point? Why is this bad now? I did not like Uncharted 3. I thought it was bad. The ship graveyard lasts way too long. I'll tell you the point in the game that one point that I particularly remembered overstaying its welcome is where Nathan gets lost in the desert, and you have to just walk and wander in the desert for what feels like an insanely long, it's probably only a couple of minutes, but it feels like you are there for so long. And to be fair, I think that was the point. I think you are supposed to feel lost and helpless, having no control over the situation. I'm lost. I can't find anything. I'm gonna die out here. I think that's what they were going for. I think they wanted you as the player to feel some of what Nathan is feeling in that moment. And creatively, I understand that. It's just really fucking boring. I'm like, I get it. It's a video game. Let's move on. There was a scene where he trips balls on something, and oh god, that sequence just lasts so long. It's another one of those, I get it. You're doing the visual representation of him tripping balls on mushrooms or a poison dart, or I don't even remember anymore. And they're doing all this weird visual effects to make it seem like Nathan is completely disoriented and can't trust what he sees. And it's like, I'm pretty sure creatively that was the point. I get it. I just don't like playing it. It lasts way too long. It's like, I get it, move on. So yeah, just I thought 3 was a miss. Anyway, so Tomb Raider. Okay, so next game is that caught my interest was or caught my eye. I had something to say about Orbitals. It's a co-op game like Split Fiction and the one where the married couple who haven't divorced yet get stuck into dolls, and then they have to go through trials so that a magic book will put them back in their bodies, but it's trying to like get them to rekindle the spark of their marriage or something. What the hell's the name of that game? It Takes Two, I think is the name of this game. So Orbitals is another co-op game in the vein of It Takes Two or Split Fiction, which I have no interest in, but I really enjoyed the 80s anime aesthetic because I'm old and I'm nostalgic for that era. And really no other reason. I mean, I'm sure the game is fine. Maybe one of these years for the Extra Life charity event, we'll do a co-op games marathon, and Kelly and I can play. We did play actually Vampire Survivors for the After Dark segment a year or two ago, and we had a lot of fun with that. So maybe we'll try playing It Takes Two, or what's that one where the two dudes break out of jail? What the hell is that called? I forget. But Split Fiction or some of those. Yeah, that might be fun. Next we've got Diablo 4. Do you know what Diablo is? I hope you do. Because if you do not, this gameplay trailer will not tell you. Because there's no gameplay in it, so I guess it's not a gameplay trailer. Even though it comes out in April. Seems to me like if it's coming out in 4 or 5 months, you should probably have some gameplay you could show off. Methinks. Maybe they're just thinking, everyone knows what Diablo is. We don't need to show any gameplay stuff. And I don't know. Maybe that's true. I mean, I do know what Diablo is. So, it still annoys me. It's a Paladin trailer. Was it that it was just showing the I don't even remember what I can't even pull up in my mind what the Diablo 4 advert was. So it's just talking about a Oh, so it's not a game trailer, it's already out. It's just the Paladin characters being added to the game in April. The game's already out and you couldn't show any gameplay? Come on. Oh well. So that wasn't clear to me. You know what else wasn't clear to me? I don't have it on my list, but the Marvel Rivals Deadpool thing, that was completely unclear to me. I'm like, is Deadpool in the game? Is he a character that's being added to Marvel Rivals? I'm not entirely clear. Is Devil Dinosaur going to be in the game, or is this just... I'm not a very good advertisement, or I'm stupid, or a combination of both. Who the hell knows? Out of Words is another co-op game, like Orbitals or better to or Split Fiction or whatever the other one is called. This one has a really neat, so like Orbitals caught my eye because it has a really cool 80s anime aesthetic. This one has a neat stop motion aesthetic. And that's it. I'm like, oh, that looks neat. Again, probably not something I'll play, but, looks neat. And then finally, Mega Man Dual Override. Classic Mega Man. Very cartoony, very attractively cartoony. And not much gameplay, but also not out until 2027. I did read something earlier in the week about Capcom said during, I don't know, an investor call or something like that, that it has made Monster Hunter and Resident Evil like an established uh, cornerstone IP of the industry. And it wanted to do the same thing with Mega Man, which is kind of weird because you'd already done that, Capcom. You just you sanded off that corner when you just stopped making Mega Man games. Even when people kept asking you for more, you just stopped. It's been like 20 years. But we're getting another one, and I don't think Capcom is too interested in doing it itself because I saw earlier today or yesterday that they're doing a design contest. They're like, hey, we can't be bothered to make our own Robot Masters, so would you design them for us? We're not going to pay you, but we'll definitely take your work and put it in the game. Won't that be fun? You'll get exposure. Now, it looks like it's the kind of thing that they do with like the weapon design contest and Monster Hunter and stuff like that. They already, interestingly, it's not a completely open design. It's like we have a robot master who has a big vacuum cleaner on one arm. So design us a robot master whose right arm really sucks. And in order to do that, sign up for our Capcom ID subscription thing. You know, like Ubisoft's Uplay or EA's whatever the hell it's called. Or, yeah, not doing that. No. No, I'm not. No, Capcom. No. Bad Capcom. Yeah, Chaos says that. Yeah, there was some gameplay in it. There was like maybe what 8 seconds or something like that. But as Chaos says, yeah, I mean it is Mega Man, so we know what to expect. And yeah, I recognize the stings in the music. Because it started out with just the I guess they had an orchestra there, playing. They were trying to hide it for a bit, so it's like, ooh, this sounds nice. What is this? Oh, what is this? Oh, it's sounding familiar. Kind of like what they did with the Star Wars Fodor thing, where if you're listening and you're really into music, it's like I'm hearing the Star Wars motifs. I'm hearing the common instruments that we expect for Star Wars score. Same thing with Mega Man. It's like if you're very familiar with Mega Man and Mega Man music, you recognize it before they go full in the right. I think that's the one they used. But anyway, hey, more Mega Man. Mega Man's fun. I like Mega Man. They already had a Vacuum Robot Master in Mega Man. Yeah, there's what, Dust Man, I think. That sounds right. Vacuum Robot Master, Mega Man 4, Dust Man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or let's see. Well, let's see. Which? I'm trying to think if there's like a Robot Master or Maverick who just most everyone agrees just sucks. Say I don't know, Ring Man. I'm just picking a Robot Master, and I enter my design of a Robot Master just holding Ring Man. Oh, you wanted a right arm that really sucks? Yeah, here. I don't know which Robot Master is generally regarded as this Robot Master is just hot garbage, but let's see. Does anyone stick out to me as just a crap Robot Master? I only played X 1 through 3, so I hear some of the later X games were really struggling in the Robot Master or Maverick, as the case may be, department, but yeah, I don't know. So that was the Game Awards. I Maybe Jeff Keighley did a great job this year. Maybe he took lessons and did a fantastic job. I didn't actually stop on him saying anything, so I don't know. Maybe it's the same old, or maybe he's good now. Actually, don't know. But not the worst year I've ever seen. There were a few. There were maybe like there was only like 5 or 6 games that just had no gameplay, and I think all of them were, with the exception of Gang of Dragon, but that's kind of a Yakuza game. But you probably don't know that because it's not sold that way. So you know, so there wasn't a humongous amount of I have no idea what the game even is, as has been an issue where like a solid like third, like 30% of the we've had years where like 25 to 30% of the marketing is like I don't even know what the game is. Like, yeah, we're gonna have a Dune video game. There's gonna be so much sand, you don't even know. It's like, is it a PvP game? Is it a first person adventure? Is it a strategy? Is it a dating sim? What the hell is it? We wouldn't know for like an entire year. So, all right, that's it for tonight. I have to return this GameCube game to my shelf and go shopping because my shredded cabbage decided to get all soggy and gross. So I need to buy more. I don't, man. You can use a salad spinner. You can put it in a one of those air sucking baggy thingies, and friggin' friggin' cabbage will still go soggy sometimes. Eh, that sucks. Oh well. All right, to the store where I will have to avoid temptation of buying like pounds of candy or cookies or something. It's a struggle, man. Yeah. I understand. I understand. The concept of people who drink too much. Alcoholism and stuff. Well, I have some tangential, empathetic understanding, I think, of alcoholism or maybe some type of eating disorder, because every time I go to the store, it's a struggle. I want to buy some. I love sweets. I love candy. I love cookies and stuff like that. Problem is I don't love one cookie. I love all cookies. It's like, well, I mean, Andrew, for Christ's sake, you work out plenty. If you want some cookies, buy yourself a box of cookies. A couple cookies aren't going to kill you. No, they won't. Here's the problem, though. I'm not satisfied with whatever the serving size of cookies are. It's probably 1 or 2. I am not satisfied with 1 or 2 cookies. I will eat the entire box and not feel bad about it. And I don't need to eat an entire box of cookies, but I don't want to eat an entire box of cookies, but I will. And it's like, well, just have a couple cookies. Yeah, that's not I'm weird, I would rather have no cookies than have 2 cookies than restrict myself to a serving size of cookies. That's just how my physiology works. And Jared says, for Andrew, the serving size is the container. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Serving size. 1 box o' cookies. 1 bag o' chips. One package of candy, right? It's even worse when if you go to like Sprouts or something that have the dump bins, and it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna get out the scoops here and or the little dump bin thingy and get it into the bag, and like, oh, yeah, that looks like a reasonable amount of candy that I could eat in a sitting, and you go and weigh it, and it's like 1.75 pounds, and it's like, oh, I know I could eat nearly 2 pounds of candy, but should I? No, I shouldn't. It's another reason why I almost never like order a pizza, because I will eat the entire pizza comfortably. And I do not need to eat an entire pizza. I can, and I will enjoy the entire pizza, but I really don't need to eat it. So I eat the entire thing. Now that said, I will splurge and on occasion and say, all right, usually like holidays, Christmas is coming up. I might see if there's anything interesting in Sprouts, and say, oh, that looks neat. I need to try that. And it's like, it's the holidays. Every once in a while, you eat an entire pound of chocolate. Whatever. You got to do things to make life worth living now and then. So anyway, that's it. So I'm going to the store and I will try to stay strong. All right, that's it for me. Sunday stream tomorrow. More Trails of Cold Steel 2. I think we're at the point where we're going to be doing the final big bonding events. So kind of the equivalent of who do you want to dance with at the end of Cold Steel 1. Looks because everyone is like, hey, Reen, what do you say we go back to your dorm room? Everyone wants to tour Reen's dorm room. So we will save Scum and we will tour Reen's dorm room with every single person who asks, even if it's really inappropriate. 13-year-old girl? Sure. Our teacher? You betcha. Is that appropriate? No. We gonna do it anyway? Yes, indeed you do. So, see you tomorrow for the Sunday stream, folks. Have a good night. Take care. Bye-bye.